Welcome back to Pops and Pennies. So, Nick, we had a viewer question this week.
We do.
It was basically, how does a company like Meyer afford,
Walmart, Myers.
yeah, afford to pay for, their stock when they use so many credit cards and the credit card bill is only paid in theory once a month?
Sure.
So, I know I have answers. I know you have answers. So,
Yeah.
let's start with you.
So, right, I guess when you say stock, right, we're talking about replenishing things
Yes,
on
objects.
product,
Objects you can buy. Yeah.
products, right? Um, and so, you know, yes. Now, again, let's dive into it. So, me as a consumer, right, I have a credit card.
Yes,
I go and spend money on the first. Technically, it's due. Let's say the 30th of that month.
correct.
Now, I haven't paid Meyer.
Right.
Meyer has gifted me, and they've gifted me that credit, right? They've said, "Hey, we'll let you take this food for 30 days, and then you pay me back, but you're also going to pay me back with a little bit of money." Um,
Well,
right?
and not entirely.
Sure.
So, I mean, technically, so every credit card has something backing it. So let's use, for example, the Meyer credit card because
Yep.
I think that hits what this is really about way more than a Capital One Visa card.
Sure.
So I use my Meyer credit card on the first, and I buy my groceries. I spend $100,
Yep.
let's say, and I don't pay it till the 30th. How does Meyer have money to buy things?
Yep.
So, in theory, yes, I'm not paying that bill until 30 days from
Yep.
now, let's say. But what I am doing is, I swiped this imaginary money, and what Meyer in turn does is they send through all of those transactions for that day, and they get the money from the bank.
Yep.
So they're not waiting 30 days to get payment on what I came and bought today.
Correct.
I'm waiting 30 days to pay for
You pay it.
what I bought today.
Let's say, and let's say there's a little more in depth
Yep.
because when it is a Meyer card, right,
Yes.
it is Meyer backed. How do
Mhm.
you back that? Meyer backs their things with either A, stocks, right? B, they'll back it with their real estate itself.
Yes.
The actual Meyer building, the land that Meyer's on, the gas station itself.
Okay.
Right. So there's a backing. Now if the question is, right, does Meyer use because Meyer will use credit again. So
Yes.
we talk about the company that our friend Mikey works for.
Yes.
He stocks. So Keeblers and chips, things like that.
Yeah.
So right, they'll say, hey, we'll buy this amount of stuff and we'll pay you at the end of the month, right? So they're guaranteed this.
Mhm.
And because Meyer's credibility, their credit is good enough, they front the supplies and it kind of just is a trickle down effect
Yes.
where, all right, hey, you're getting paid, you're getting paid, you're getting paid. So and credit in general, like is usually based off of a 30-day cycle. Um, when you talk about credit with other things, your credit can only be good for 7 days. Hey, do upon receipt, things like that. But yes, Meyer, what they're doing is going exactly to a bank. Again, as you said,
Mhm.
it's swipe. You go to a Meyer with a Meyer credit card. Meyer has this bank account set up to fund Meyer's credit card stuff
Mhm.
while people make payments. And then, so if you spend $100 at the end of the 30 days, you're going to pay $106. So if you have 6%, technically you'll pay 118, right, for 18% interest.
Depending on what interest you have.
Right. And so then now if you multiply that by the thousands of people that are doing it, right? They're profiting off of this, and eventually you become a debt-free company. And so, right, you're backing your own credit cards with your own funds, right? Meyer didn't start out with a credit system.
Well, and what people need to understand is not people, but kids,
Right.
When you get a credit card, you have a period, it's usually 25 days past the date you get your bill to pay that off 100% and accrue no interest. So
Yep.
Nick was talking about You paid $100 and now you're going to turn around and pay $118. If you pay the bill within the 25 days, you're going to pay $100.
Yep.
But how credit works and how banks and companies actually get paid is for all the people that are like, I really don't have the money to pay that $100. So my minimum payment's 10. I'm just going to pay $10.
And I guess, right, because I want to be clear, um, Myers and companies that offer credit cards, right, they're banking, they're betting on the fact that you are the person that will not pay it off.
Correct.
So to the viewer that asked the question, how does it work if if the payment doesn't come in? Sure, if everybody in theory did not pay their credit card bill, it would take, granted, Meyer has a bunch of money set up, but it would take time, but Meyer would then go bankrupt. They would stop. There's a point where they have a cutoff switch, right? It's kind of built into their system that says, hey, if this many people stop paying, so if everybody stops paying, officially they cut off credit cards. So you can no longer buy with credit cards and you have to have the cash to go buy things. And there's a little trigger effect. Granted, it's not something we'll see in our life because of how much is there and how the economy's going, but that's for another episode. But again, in theory, how it is done is there's enough backed by that the banks will give them the loan to go buy products and replenish their, or a company will replenish their shelves and take it on, an IOU, a credit. Also, let's say, they when you're buying a credit, places like Walmart are notorious for going to the person that's stocking their shelf, and they'll say, "Hey, we'll buy everything you can make for the next year, let's say." And so you keep shipping, 20 pairs of shoes every week, right? You just keep, and we'll pay you what we would normally pay you in 6 months, but we'll make it a year because we're guaranteeing that we're buying 20 pairs of shoes. Now, Meyer sometimes will only sell 15 pairs of shoes. And that's why you see a clearance section of, hey, these are the extra 5 pairs of shoes. But they've already made their money, and that's the other thing is you have to understand, hey, we're drinking pops here, right? This pop, Meyer bought it for $1. They sold it to you for $2, right?
Right.
They've profited that $1. Yes, there's costs that go into it of people and things, and we can dive into that so much farther. But really, like they're making money, and then if you buy it on credit, they're making $1.10 or $1.16, right? Like, so they're making extra money because you didn't pay for it right away.
Well, I know, we keep these short, so we have to wrap up soon.
Yep.
One thing we've seen recently, especially in the last couple of years, is there are companies out there that will argue more to swipe your credit card because they don't get paid what the actual product is. So every time you swipe your card, a company loses approximately 3% of their sale.
Yep.
So instead of paying $1 for something, you're paying
97.
You're paying $1, but they're receiving 97 cents. So there are companies out there that are now passing those fees on. So I know here at Break Room Therapy, if you want a Gatorade, we have Gatorade downstairs. You can grab one for $1.
Yep.
Cash. It's $1.50 you want to run it on a card. So I mean, if you want to save some money, pay $1.
Bring cash.
Yeah.
And that's said that's a great point. And when you look at credit systems and how they work, everybody has to make money along these ways. But one thing I will say is any company that you look for that accepts credit, right? Whether it be a Meyer, whether it be an ABC warehouse, if you can swipe a credit card there, prices of everything are gonna be right.
Yeah.
But again, it's financially backed depending on what it is. So, I know ABC Warehouse does basically in-house financing, and you can hear about cars, right? So, how can I buy a car today that's $30,000? Because when I do, we'll talk about that. You buy a $40,000 car on credit because you're taking out a loan, and Now the company doesn't have $40,000 and they don't have the car, right? So how does that work? Right? So it is backed by another bank. A bank gives the loan, comes in, then they get rid of the car.
Yeah, and what happens is the bank says, "Here's $40,000 for this vehicle," ABC company.
Yep.
And I get the car, having only spent, let's say, $1,000,
Yep.
and I make payments for the next 5 years to pay that vehicle off with extra money.
Yep.
Because it's not a $40,000 car anymore; it's a $8,000. So, I hope that answered our viewers' question. We're just over 10 minutes here, so we're going to wrap up this episode of Pops and Pennies. We'll get this posted very, very soon because I know he's very interested to hear this answer. Nick, you got anything?
Guys, we're happy that you're listening to us. We really appreciate the questions. Tell your parents and anybody that's with you to like, subscribe, and share. We'll talk to you guys very soon.
Thank you again for joining us.